Oh, look what's come in the shop today. Dave? Hi Dave, I'll be right over. Dave has a restoration shop where he works on heavy-duty equipment, mainly DOT mass equipment. Has kind of a unique application of how he can incorporate our mil-spec hybrid. Is this going in now?
Yeah, it's gotta go in Darren's because it's too narrow for my lift.
Okay. Dave, are you okay with being on camera? You don't want to be on?
Appreciate that.
Yep, no problem. Yeah, we, every once in a while I go in and I spend a day in the shop and I just kind of, you know, tell everyone what we do. Our team has access to an app that allows them not only to know the schedule, but the particulars on each vehicle. Maurice is checking now. Each vehicle's VIN will be scanned and not only become a permanent record with Carfax, but in our system. Then we take before and after photos and send those directly to the customer. We're currently working on the ability to take videos and upload them directly to the customer. Our neighbor Bobcat of New Hampshire sends these in to us regularly. I believe we have 5 scheduled for a customer who I think uses these to load and unload salt. Can you think of a more needy piece of equipment? Here's a team up from Rhode Island. Joey's kind of briefing them on the concept of undercoating. They're in the automobile business currently. What they're doing is detailing, and I believe bed liners. And so they're getting ready to get suited up and begin the training. If you currently own and operate an automotive business, especially if you're spraying bed liners, consider adding this service to your customers. I will tell you, having sprayed bed liners for many years, it dovetails perfectly. Many companies have brought us on as a secondary revenue source, only to become the primary revenue source within a relatively short period of time. Don't own an automotive business? Well, consider becoming a mobile franchise. I'm sorry. All right, so this is a B117 testing cabinet. These tests. This is the standard in the world. It's all controlled. This is all measured, controlled. I have to use a water distillation. I have to use, it's got to be a certain temperature. It's an expensive unit, but when I compare a test to another test, they're all done identically, and so they all have merit. So this is, here's some of the things. The new wax that we came out with. The hybrid wax, we're testing it against our oil. Okay, we were having there was a little bit of softening on the old Boss wax, where the oil would creep out. Our oil is very good at creeping, and it would soften up some of the areas a little bit. So this is going to mitigate that, because this product is compatible with the oil. This is a rust converter. If you ever use a rust converter, let's say someone said, do you ever use them in your shop?
It's not really a converter, but with the POR, it looks very similar.
So, okay, so POR, they probably give you something, you sandblast, and then you use, it's got to be a converter. It's a converter.
They
and
call
then
it natural, but it's
okay. So
like a phosphate.
Okay, and so this is actually a phosphate. So that's a zinc phosphate.
Yes.
Okay. This is an iron phosphate, okay? Yep. This is kind of a conventional, I'm not picking on this, okay? This is a conventional rust converter, turns it to an iron phosphate, okay? The problem is most of these have polymers which seal the surface. Do you notice does it get shiny after it cures?
No, the stays not like that.
Perfect, that's exactly what you want, okay? So this is this turns it to a zinc phosphate, which, see the creeping, allows the oil to penetrate, because the zinc or the iron phosphate rust converters don't have the ability to displace and go down through the base metal. And when you're done, you want to have the magic of the oil. You want water, you want to have oil displacement and migration, okay? And it doesn't happen here. It does here, okay? So this is actually this is a piece of the hybrid, and this is, I just happen to leave it out on the counter, and you can touch that, feel that. So see this, right? Okay, never fully cures, okay? So here's 30 days, I'll give you something to wash your hands. Here's 30 days. What I did was I went away for 6 months, I came back. This was just sitting here. Here's what it did. So that's 6 months. And we duplicated the test here, okay? So basically what that is doing is mitigating any, exactly. It's pre-existing rust now, you're not encapsulating, because that's the big problem. And I actually had this formula available to me. It was a formula made by a chemist for a military project, so it meets military specs. And I kind of pushed back and I said, nah, I don't want to do it, because I feel like I don't want to encapsulate rust, which is really what you're doing with the POR 15. And I'm not picking on it.
Well, I don't.
Okay.
Because we sandblast everything off.
Okay. Nooks and crannies, seams, folds.
When you go get the truck, I'm going to show you some
Okay, great.
pictures.
All right. You know, and I say do something. I don't say, and I like, I don't pick on other people. Like, I mean, it's better than doing nothing, okay? Mm-hmm. But the point is, this is going to get into all the seams, nooks, and crannies, okay? It's going to displace and remove oxygen, which is critical. And so when I realized that this was the way the product performed and that it continued to perform even 6 months later, we started using it to solve another problem with a franchise we had in South Carolina. And then we took the formula in and I got to play around with it. I get to play around with them in here in my lab, okay? I realized it had some real potential to deal with some of these issues that we had with the trucks coming in, all of them with rust, especially the Chevys. And so that's how that kind of product was born, okay? And then this is, whoops, I don't want to show competitors, but that's, you know, we take other competitors and we test them, okay? These are just some tests that we run. But that's the hybrid. So I'll bring the vehicle in here and I'll let you see it.
Okay.
A month old. So this is a 2020, okay? This is my wife's vehicle. It's a 2020 and dry to the touch, but not, I could take my fingernail and scratch that, okay? This had very light surface rust, really indicative of a 24. I don't care, a 23, okay? This is part of our R&D. Like we do our own vehicles, we do customers' vehicles. Yeah. They come in and they offer to, you know, volunteer. We do it for nothing or at a reduced rate, you know. But that would be interesting to see how that works out for you. So I'm going to shut this off so you can ask. I'm not, you know, I'm not trying to sell you this, but okay, we had vehicles come in here in the middle of the winter and they would come in with liquid de-icing material on them, and we bought all those products on off-the-shelf products, and I could not get any of them to work, okay? It's kind of why I developed my own oil. I wasn't happy with the stuff that they sold that was on the shelf. So my chemist made me something that breaks down the sticky additives inside the liquid de-icing material. I'll give you some, you try it. It's the only thing that will work for us. And that's the only reason why we came up with this product. We didn't try to add SKUs. We just came up with it because there wasn't anything out there.
No, I'm not against. Matter of fact, it's beneficial to just using a garden hose to wash these off.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the way to go, because high pressure will could rip the paint off. I mean, if you're putting 3,000 PSI on it. Okay, we have another crew coming in, one we're very excited about. They're from Highway Campers. It's a new industry for us. If you own a camper, you know mice can be a very big problem. I don't want to run this video any longer than I have already. We will catch up tomorrow on, we'll call it maybe part 3, the crew coming in from Highway Campers, Plainfield, Connecticut.